Hey guys, this is Shane. I'm back with another video to share my full review of the Galaxy Tab A9 Plus. This is a budget-oriented tablet from Samsung. It is on sale at the time of this video. I have some links in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. The retail price is $220. Now, this tablet has been out for a few months now. I got it myself a couple months ago for $190. And at the time of this recording, I'm seeing it as low as $170 now. So I'll have some links to the latest pricing in the description for whenever you're watching this video. There's 3 different colors to choose from. We have a navy, this gray, which is what I've been personally using. We're also going to check out this silver color here in a second. And there's a couple different options of this tablet. So the standard one has 4 gigabytes of RAM and 64 gigabytes of storage, which is what I have here and what I'm going to be basing this review off of. However, it's worth mentioning there is an upgraded 8 gigabyte RAM and 128 gigabyte storage model, which I've also found at a discounted price. It's now matching the retail price of that lower spec version, so might be worth considering that. And there's also a cellular 5G version of this tablet, and that comes with the 4 gigabytes of RAM and 64 gigabytes of storage. But let's go ahead and do a quick unboxing of the silver color of the Tab A9 Plus to get a look at that. So just one sticker on here. Have our device on top. Let's go ahead and put this to the side, see what else we get. Inside the box, we have a USB Type-C to Type-C charging cable, a SIM ejection tool, and a little bit of paperwork, but that's everything inside the box. There's no charger included with this tablet, so just keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and check out the star of the show here, the Galaxy Tab A9 Plus. I really like the look of this silver color. Here's a quick comparison of it to my gray or graphite Tab A9 Plus. This one definitely seems to pick up a decent amount of fingerprints over time, whereas I think this one might be a little bit cleaner in that regard. Taking a physical tour with this silver color, we have a very solid aluminum finish on the back and the sidings. We do have a bit of antenna at the top. The only reason I pointed out is because it is noticeably larger than on last year's Tab A8, but for whatever it's worth, it seems to reduce the weight of this a bit. So if I drop the Tab A9 Plus on a scale, 473 grams. If I compare that to that Tab A8 from last year, that's coming in at 496 grams. So I have slightly noticed that weight reduction here since I have this tablet in the hand a lot because of the size. We still just have a single lens camera on the back here, and then we also have the landscape-oriented front-facing camera. We'll check out some footage later. On the top, we have our power and volume rockers, one of our mics. On the left and right sides, we have our quad speaker setup. We have another mic on the right, have our Type-C port capable of 15-watt fast charging. And great to see that we still have a headphone jack all the way over here on the corner. Sometimes I forget about it on this guy because it's so far over here, but we do have a headphone jack. We also have a micro SD card slot, so we can put up to 1 terabyte of additional storage in here. And if you have the 5G version, this is where you'll put your SIM card, but you can also use an eSIM with this tablet. And interestingly, Samsung included their official connector pins on the bottom of this tablet. If you take Samsung's other current keyboard cases for their Tab S9 FE or S9, for example, even though the pins would line up, these brackets that are at the edge of this case and here on the tablet, they don't line up. So you can't use Samsung's official keyboards just yet with this tablet. Hopefully that changes in due time. But now getting into actually reviewing this tablet, since like I said, I've been using this for a couple of months now, I definitely have a good feel for it. And I'm definitely ready to share my full thoughts on it. Starting with the biometrics, getting into this tablet, we have face recognition on here. We don't have any fingerprint sensor, but the face recognition works really well on this tablet. It gets me in every single time, and more importantly, when it's on a desk or a table and it's farther away, that also unlocks instantly. And once you're in, you'll be greeted by the new 11-inch display. We have a 1920 by 1200 resolution. This is a TFT LCD display, and it's been upgraded to have a 90 hertz refresh rate, which has been an appreciated upgrade over the previous A series tablets with just the 60 hertz refresh rate. Now, the tablet overall did get a little bit larger compared to the previous A-series tablets because of that larger screen size. This Tab A8 had a 10.9-inch screen. I have noticed just a slight aspect ratio difference that I've definitely appreciated on this A9 Plus. And again, the tablet is lighter overall, which I've also noticed just in the hand. We still have enough bezel here to hold onto this tablet in any sort of aspect ratio you want to. And overall, in my first 2 months of usage, I've really enjoyed just grabbing this tablet at a moment's notice, getting in right away with the instant face recognition, and having this nice large display with a good resolution and smooth refresh rate to do whatever it is that you need to do. Even though we don't have an AMOLED screen like on a lot of other Samsung devices, the colors have been pretty good for me personally, and more importantly, the screen gets plenty bright, so able to use this in any scenario, and for the price, I'd say the screen is definitely good enough. As far as the actual usage and the performance of this Tab A9 Plus, this comes packed with the Snapdragon 695 processor, so just your average scrolling and navigation throughout the tablet is going to be perfectly fine. Might take a split second for applications to open, and there is a little bit of stuttering between various animations sometimes when you're switching between different apps. If it's a recently used app, it'll open perfectly fine. All of my productivity tasks have been good on here on Excel. Switching over to some gaming, you can see that sometimes the screen will black out a little bit. I think that is just a RAM limitation. Really, the main limitation, I'd say, is the 4 gigabytes of RAM that's on this tablet. It is nice that it is 1 gigabyte extra than the previous A series tablets, so I have noticed that switching between some of your more recent applications, it happens a lot quicker and smoother compared to some of the previous generation tablets. But something I've also noticed is that if you haven't used an application for a while, some of the screens will just turn white on them in your multitasking pane, and then it'll have to just reload to the standard page. It won't save what you were previously looking at. It'll have to reload it. So for example, this game that I was just playing a little bit ago, it looks like it had to completely reload the game. So sometimes you have to just resume back into what it is you're doing. You won't be able to instantly jump back in. And just to prove that point, you'll see here, if I'm in the game, if I switch over to maybe one different application, you can see here now that the Excel also X'd out. The RAM limitation is definitely a thing. If I switch back to the game here, you can see that if I was just previously using it, I can jump right back into it right away. But overall, once you're loaded into whatever you're doing, the performance has definitely been enough for me in my average day-to-day use. Now, gaming has been really good for me on this Tab A9 to my surprise. The 90 Hz refresh rate definitely helps out with making all of your games that can support that feel really smooth and buttery. The 11-inch screen size is definitely large enough for whatever games you're looking to play, and I found that it's just really enjoyable to play this handheld because of the screen size, and you can see it's really easy to access your various different menus and things and interact with whatever it is you're doing. You are able to multitask on this tablet perfectly fine, so I'll open up YouTube here, go to our side panel, just bring out Excel for example, wait a split second for it to load, but I've had no problem doing productivity tasks in Excel. Watching content has been perfectly fine. You can switch your sizes of your screens here with not much lag or waiting at all. So as far as just the general usage and multitasking and performance, it's really been quite fine. And I just got an update for Samsung's One UI 6.0, so it's really nice to see and use Samsung's latest software here for some of the new features that come with the software, such as being able to switch your users of the tablet. So if you got this for your family, for your kids, you could switch between your different accounts and have different applications on each of the accounts. And most importantly, we have most of Samsung's core features that are across all their devices, such as Quick Share to quickly share things with other devices. We have Smart View, so you can cast this screen to your TV, for example. And the biggest surprise to me is that we have Samsung DeX on this tablet. I was already surprised when Samsung had included it on their $350 Tab S9 FE that I recently reviewed, but having it here, this is definitely the most affordable device I've ever seen with Samsung DeX. Now, it is worth mentioning that with the One UI 6.0, there is a new version of DeX, so basically it stays on your same home screen as you have on the tablet mode, but you still have the core functionality of DeX, which is being able to have as many windows open as you want to and placing them wherever you want to on your screen. It's very easy to jump into different multitasking styles. You can go ahead and hit the side-by-side icon on any of the apps, and then you can just go ahead, find your other app that you want to have open. Go ahead and open up YouTube. And then it's super easy to just go back and tap on this icon to then make this more of that smaller option and being able to put it wherever you want to. Now, one of the areas that surprised me the most on this Tab A9 Plus was the battery life. So if you watch my previous videos on the Tab A8 and Tab A7, you'll see that I would get around 7 hours of screen on time in one battery cycle usually. But on this Tab A9 Plus, I've been getting way more battery. So my first use case, I used the tablet for 2 days and got 10.5 hours of screen on time. I was watching a lot of YouTube, so that definitely could have contributed to the extra battery. In a use case where I did do some gaming, I got 8.5 hours of screen on time, which that is a huge improvement for me personally over the 7 hours maximum that I used to get on those previous tablets. Mind you, I did do some gaming with a 90 hertz refresh rate of old school RuneScape. Another use case, I got 3 days and 1 battery charge out of this. Again, near 8.5 hours of screen on time. In another battery cycle, I got 2 days and 7 hours of battery life. And during that time, I used the tablet for 10 hours and 21 minutes. So you can definitely push this tablet a lot longer. But something that still takes a longer time though is the charging speed. So in 30 minutes, it gets up to 23%. After an hour and a half, it gets to 70%, which is okay, but for some reason, it takes forever to get back to a full charge, 100%. Sometimes I'd leave it overnight and it would still be at 99%. So I don't know what's up with that, but regardless, a near full charge will still take about 2.5 hours. Another pleasant surprise I found with this Tab A9 Plus is that the official book cover case that goes with it has been drastically improved over the previous versions for the previous tablets. So it's the same $50 price, but it has a lot more protection, mainly side protection, which the old ones did not have. And the new origami style backing gives you a ton of different options for standing this tablet up in any way you could possibly think of. So I would definitely keep an eye out for the official case that goes with this tablet. I've seen some offers online at this point from some retailers that will offer this case alongside it for free. Taking a look at the cameras, we have the single lens on the back. This is an 8 megapixel lens. Your average everyday photos are pretty average, honestly, not that great. You can digitally zoom up to 10 times if that's something that would be worth it to you. And you can record video as high as 1080p 30. And the same goes for the 5 megapixel front-facing camera. This films in 1080p 30 resolution, so not the greatest video quality by any means, but certainly gets the job done for video calls with family and friends. But overall, all things considered, I've been really enjoying this Galaxy Tab A9 Plus, my first couple months of usage. I'm actually reaching for this tablet even though I have access to other higher-end Samsung tablets. I just really like this device for the price and all the things that it features. It honestly gets the job done for me for my personal basic tablet needs. Really, the only points of criticism I have for it is the RAM limitation, which you might want to consider getting the 8GB RAM model. And probably the biggest downside to anyone watching this video is there's no S Pen that goes alongside this tablet. Personally, I've just found a stylus in my house that I've been using with this perfectly fine for when I do want a bit of a stylus experience to go with this. But if you want that S Pen experience, you are going to have to bump up to a higher end tablet such as this Galaxy Tab S9 FE, which this does have a fair amount more of bells and whistles. We have the water and dust resistance on this one. We have the IPS display, so a nicer looking display on this one. Honestly, the performance has been pretty similar for me on each of these tablets, so that's not really of concern. And even though this A9 Plus has a quad speaker setup and the speakers do sound quite good, the stereo speaker setup on the Tab S9 FE does actually sound better, surprisingly. There is a slightly upgraded camera on this S9 FE, being able to film in 4K 30, and more importantly, the front-facing camera is a 12 megapixel, so you might get better quality videos on the front-facing. This one also comes with the official connector pins, and this one you can connect with Samsung's official keyboard cases. However, the price of this one with current discounts is twice the price of this A9 Plus, coming in at $350. So I think the main takeaway is that obviously there's going to be some cons and downsides to this Tab A9 Plus. It's not going to have everything that Samsung offers in a lot of their higher end tablets, but for the price, for everything that's offered here, I've been really happy with this Tab A9 Plus. I can honestly recommend this tablet to anyone watching this video. Anyone of any age can get a lot of use and enjoyment out of this device, but I'll definitely be curious to hear your thoughts on the Galaxy Tab A9 Plus down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to give it a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing to the Shane Simons YouTube channel today. Since I'm going to be checking out the smaller Galaxy Tab A9 Non Plus, this is a previous version that has this similar form factor, and lately I've been checking out more of Samsung's more affordable devices, so I'll have a video soon as well on the Galaxy A05s. This is a $200 phone that has an AMOLED display, so lots to check out here on the channel. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.